USAir was the first air carrier certified by the CAB following passage of the Civil Aeronautics Act of 1938. Known then as All-American Aviation, the airline began flying mail over 1,000 miles of rugged mountain terrain in Pennsylvania and West Virginia on May 12, 1939. The single-engine Stinson planes would swoop down to treetop level at the small towns along the route, dropping mail containers and snatching the outgoing mail from the ground in a single pass without landing. On March 7, 1949, the airline crossed the threshold of the local service era and inaugurated passenger service with the dependable Douglas DC-3. And since most communities now had airports where mail planes could land, the air pickup service was suspended a few months later. When it began passenger service in 1949, we changed our name to All-American Airways. In 1953, we changed that to Allegheny Airlines. Emerging from the feeder line era, we located in the populous East with its multitude of important short-haul markets, and new and simplified reservations, ticketing, and baggage techniques were developed to meet the demand of short-haul air transportation. During the mid-1960s, the company began to convert its fleet to all turbine-powered aircraft, a project that was completed late in 1967 with the phase-out of the last piston-engine Convair 440. During most of this transition period, we added a new turbine-powered aircraft to the fleet on the average of one every 18 days. In 1963, we relocated our principal operations and maintenance base to the Greater Pittsburgh International Airport from Washington, D.C. to house the vital support activities required by our rapidly expanding fleet. By mid-1978, the last of the turbine-powered Convair 580 aircraft were phased out of service, and we became all-jet. The fleet now exceeds 100. In 1979, we crossed a bold psychological barrier by changing our name to USAir. Little did we know then how propitious that decision to change our name would be. Over the years, USAir has experienced a growth rate exceeding industry averages. In 1955, for example, 1,465,000 passengers rode our flights. Today, that exceeds 15 million. That rapid growth was enhanced by two successful mergers, in 1968 with former Lake Central Airlines and in 1972 with the former Mohawk Airlines. With these, we extended into upstate New York and New England markets. In 1978, with the passage of the Airline Deregulation Act, the airlines were able to expand more easily than before. Under the provisions of the new law, USAir added routes to the west and south. USAir now serves more than 60 cities. Today, USAir ranks 7th among the nation's domestic airlines and 10th in the free world in total passenger boardings. In 1981, we flew nearly 5.5 billion revenue passenger miles. Deregulation of the airlines has offered many new opportunities to USAir, and we've chosen to move into a number of exciting markets. These extensions have given our travelers in the East quick access to the southwest and southeast sections of the country. To help our passengers get to their chosen destinations, USAir relies heavily on its commuter system to feed the main lines and its reservation desks to schedule it. Begun in 1967, the Allegheny Commuter Program is a unique concept which has proven to be a solution to the air transportation needs of many small and intermediate-sized cities. By combining frequent, prime-time schedules and excellent dependability with the services of a major airline, the Allegheny commuter communities receive the best possible commercial air service. Commuter customers receive the full range of USAir's discounts and joint fares and cargo rates, interline ticketing, tickets by mail, and interline cargo transfers. USAir's computerized reservation system is available to all Allegheny commuter communities. USAir provides round-the-clock reservation service through its 3 regional reservations offices in Indianapolis, Syracuse, and Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh operation for reservations is staffed by 638 people who handle nearly 750,000 phone calls each month, which come in over the 300 phone lines. That's an average of 17 calls every minute of the day. And those calls reach a peak of nearly 1 per second during peak business hours. Each regional reservations office, in addition to general sales, has specialized areas. Group Desk handle reservation sales and service for groups of people traveling together. Tour International Desk handle requests for tour programs and packages for domestic and international travel. Vista Desk serve the travel needs of the high-volume commercial accounts and travel agencies. The Syracuse office includes bilingual agents who serve French-speaking customers in Montreal and Toronto. The decade of the 1980s is a challenging one. In 1981, for the first time in our history, we had operating revenues exceeding $1 billion. Yet, 1981 was also the year of the air traffic controllers strike. But we adapted, and by the end of the year, the USAir system had been restored to 94% of the pre-strike departures and 101% of our pre-strike plane miles. Deregulation brought new entrants to the airline business. They offer low-fare service, tend to buy used aircraft, hire non-union labor, and provide few of the traditional airline amenities. Most of the new entrants are point-to-point carriers and generally will not make reservations or ticket their customers on flights of other airlines or offer single fares for connecting flights on other airlines. Nor do they check luggage through to the final destination as part of an interline routing. But USAir remains competitive, offering the same low fares and improved schedules in these markets, while of course continuing to provide the full range of passenger services. One of our strong points in keeping our passengers happy and staying ahead of the competition is training. In recent years, we've made a concerted effort to build a training program for our employees that is second to none. At a management conference in Orlando in 1980, we adopted the slogan, "Preparing for tomorrow, today." To live up to that slogan, we've involved our ground crews in continuing training, trained our customer service agents in new computerized ticketing techniques to speed seat selection and passenger check-in, management training, and a continuing series of annual training programs aimed at developing our flight attendant, ticket agent, and gate agents into real professional communicators. By expanding our fleet to include new fuel-efficient Boeing 737s and improving the professionalism of our staff on the ground and in the air, USAir is truly preparing for tomorrow, today.